Okay, that first clip you just saw was me sanding my paper with a nail file. I often sand my paper first so that it's easier to get the paint to stick to it. What I'm painting right now this is me at Bryce National Canyon, which is in Utah, I'm pretty sure. It was gorgeous. I took so many pictures. I forced my roommates to take so many pictures of me at the scenery, and when I came home, I just had to paint it. I was looking everywhere for on YouTube of other people painting canyons and didn't come across a lot. I came across a lot of mountains, but not a lot of canyons, like the orange, crevices and down, when you're down in the canyons, those types of perspectives. So I just decided to go for it. I couldn't find a lot of videos where they were doing that. And so I kind of just decided to try my best at it to see, because obviously I've never painted canyons before. I live in Nebraska. I don't experience such a beauty very often. So I decided just to go for it and to try to paint canyons myself and to make my own video so that there was a video out there of someone painting canyons. I saw a lot of videos with the final product, but nothing with like the process. So I took craft paint and I just painted like the base orange, like a neutral in-between color of the canyons. For some reason, I went in with like medium lights first and put it on top of with oil, I put it on top of the craft paint, and then I went in with the lightest color of the canyons to put the highlights, and finally I went back in with the darkest colors of the canyon where the deep crevices are. A little tip is to not paint dominant side to non-dominant side. So as you can see, I painted with my left hand, and I started on the left side of the painting, which is really dumb because oil paint takes 4 days to dry. So this clip of me painting on the right side is 4 days after me painting on the left side because I had to wait for it to dry so I wouldn't mess up all my progress by smearing my arm all over the left side of the painting. So yeah, the left side is where the light touches and the right side is where there were shadows. And so that's why it's a lot darker. So again, I went in with craft paint and then I kind of figured out where the low lights were, brought in the details with like probably a burnt umbre. Anyways, so originally there was like a ton of trees in this canyon. I have a thing against trees though because they're just really like tedious and not great for my mental health. So I ended up only painting 3 trees. This like middle tree ended up being really awkward. Like it was just kind of an eyesore. I don't think I realized in the picture how ugly that tree was. And so right now you can see it finished. That's like what it looked like in the picture, and I realized how like skimpy it looks. So yeah, right now I'm going back and like adding a bunch of rocks to the ground to make it look more realistic, to make it blend more with the path that I was on. Now I'm coming back and adding more dark details to the canyon just to kind of like finish up. I ended up adding a lot more leaves to the tree just to make it a little more appropriate, a little more healthy looking, more PG for the kiddos out there. Yeah, I don't know. I came in with craft paint for the body. I don't know why my camera is so shaky at this point, but it is. I took like purple and brown craft paint, mixed it together to make like the back part of the hair. So like this is just craft paint. It'll dry in 2 seconds so that I can come back with oil paint and add all the highlights of the hair. So then the underneath part will be darker, which is how light and hair works. The front and highlights of the hair stand out a lot more than the under parts of the hair. So I'm adding highlights. The way that I make blonde hair is I often use I'll either use a burnt sienna with white and purple, or I'll use straight up like a more orangey yellow, and I add purple to take off the brassiness, and then I add white to make it like a lighter tone to kind of adjust how light the blonde is. And I used less white to make it, you know, a darker blonde. So painting hair is really fun, I think. But it can be really challenging, especially blonde hair, just like getting the colors right, because it's not like a natural color like that just comes in tubes. Like brown would be a little more basic. So adding the details of the hair and the ears. Also, sorry that there's so much glare. Most artists use natural light, but I live in a basement, so hard to come by natural light these days. Unless I brought all my stuff upstairs, which if you saw all my things, you would understand that that would not be very possible or wise. So, now I'm painting the backpack. It wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be. I think I drew it weird. Like I drew it really long and droopy. So the backpack just looks kind of weird. For the shirt, since you can't see a lot of details of the shirt anyways in the photo, so I just like added where the light touches. I went back. I didn't record the very last part just because I was really tired of recording. I like taped a mask to my ceiling and held the my phone from the ceiling. Like I let it hang down. So it was really difficult to record. Obviously, I've never done this before, but this is the final product. It's still drying. It hasn't fully dried. I just got ahead of myself and took a picture of it hanging from my wall. Yeah. Ignore the rest of my room, please. So, anyways, yeah. Thank you for your time, and let me know if this was helpful or not, because I feel like it probably really wasn't helpful, but it was fun to make. So, yeah, thanks for watching.